Alright, my fellow box art nerds, we are starting this review with a look at the box. I haven't even opened this one yet, so this is kind of different for me, but, you know, in lieu of doing a live unboxing like I usually do, I just want to get right into the review because it's a busy day for me here today. Raging through the world on a rampage of destruction, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, it's alive. I've always loved this poster. Apparently it is from 1956. My box got a little dinged on the way in, so that's a shame because it's just right there. It's, you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna go crazy about that. Got the logo there, which I always liked. I would always like this one. Again, I guess it's a 1956 poster for release here. It looks really, really cool. You know, on the back here, you have Godzilla King of the Monsters again, but you have product shots. Savage action, authentic color scheme, just like the 56 poster. Spectacular thrills, dynamic violence. I do like the fonts that they chose. I wish they didn't go too crazy with them as a letterer. Like, you know, I don't think I needed every one of them. It's classic, but it doesn't keep with the theme. The theme, guys, see, this is how you do things. You take what's there, and what's there is a very simple font, and you mess with that. So, this is cool, but it doesn't feel super classic, in my opinion. Neca, you need some design help? Let me know. That's what I do. Dynamic violence, diabolical demon, belching fire. Okay. Surging up from the depths of the sea on a tidal wave of terror to wreak vengeance on mankind, it's Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Jet planes cannot destroy it. Bombs cannot kill it. All modern weapons fail. Is this the end of our civilization? Can the scientists of the world find a way to stop this creature? It's a tale to stun the mind, more terrifying than any ever shown on screen. Here's the Toho and Godzilla stuff. I do really like the 65 years of Godzilla. I think that looks really nice. It's a nice logo. On top you just got that again. Bottom you just have NECA. And then on the inside we have the poster once again, which looks good. On the bottom you have this repeating, which I do dig. I like how it goes around, and they basically recreated the poster on this side. So, guys, I will tell you right now, this is one of those instances where I won't blame you if you want to keep this in package, because that is absolutely gorgeous. And one thing NECA's been doing really awesome is these packages. So kudos to them. This looks fantastic. As you can see in the background, they you know, have the background of this back there, which looks really, really good. So there you go, guys. There's my box art nerd. This gets pretty much an A from me, maybe an A- because I like the effort, but I don't love these little things. But there you go. It's very cool. But that's just me because, you know, again, I'm a letterer by trade. So there you have it, guys. That's my box art nerd. Let's get to the review. Alright, my zillions, today I have a review of the NECA Godzilla, King of the Monsters, the original Godzilla King of the Monsters, the US version with Raymond Burr, the 1956 movie poster version of the Godzilla 1954. Yeah, guys, I am really happy to have this in hand. It is a cool piece. They first debuted this way back in San Diego last year, I want to say. I finally got to see it at Toy Fair this year. It did look really awesome in a nice display. The display is a little bit different. We'll check that out a little later. But overall, I think the figure is pretty cool. The 54 mold is actually one of their best. So definitely was excited to get this variant. I think it's a cool idea to do a poster variant. It kind of comes off as like an arcade type figure from them. But it works good enough, so let's get the review going. Tail assembly instructions. Heat it up in some water. Let me tell you. Use hotter water than warm, and for way more than 20 seconds. this is really, really tough. Make sure you heat up the ball joint a little bit too, because that'll help you a lot. So there you go, a little bit of advice from Ultrazilla. That's a little bit better than this, I would think. Just longer than this. My experience, 40 seconds to a minute, and then, you know, heat up both sides, I think is the right way to go. Godzilla comes with this awesome display. Got the people running here. You got the whole backing here, but no actual poster words or anything except for the awesome. You can put this together as a little display. Mine is a little bent up, guys. It really is on the sides, though, so that's not the biggest deal. You can cut here. I'm not going to do any of this. Cut there and then insert the slots. You got a little backing here. I guess you could insert there. So, you got it. If you want to just display him with this, the tail would come out here from there. It's okay. It's fine if you want to do that. I think he looks better in the box, like I went over at the top there. But if you want, you have this. So there you have it. Like the movie poster, Godzilla comes with this yellow flame, which is cool. It's kind of like translucent plastic. It's got some orange on the top, a little bit of a wash there. This is the exact same one that we got with Godzilla 62, which is very nicely sculpted. It was also translucent. This one had white over it. This one just has a little bit of orange, not a ton like the 62. And it goes in his mouth, like, you know, how these Godzillas do. And it looks fine. It pulls him down just a little bit, but that's more on Godzilla than the flame. But there you go. He could look up with it a little bit. So pretty cool. It's a nice effect piece. I liked it to start with, and I like it now. So good job, NECA. It looks very good. You know, they matched the color pretty well from the poster. But did they do a good job with the rest of the figure? Does it translate well? I saw this guy at Toy Fair myself, so it looks pretty much like the way they displayed it. Maybe some things are a tad different. Like, I think there's actually a little more paint here than there was on the original, I believe. And let me grab the box. Yeah, it's like you could see here, there was a little bit of a space underneath here, and I don't get it. I get paint straight through. That's not a big deal for me. Because either way, it's totally different from the way the poster is. They did the best to try to replicate the poster. It's mostly, you know, like when you really look at the poster now, you can see that the the spikes are not the right color and stuff like that. But that's pretty much what they've shown us from the beginning. So I'm satisfied with it. It's a good enough take. This more comes off as like one of their video game figures than a movie poster figure. I mean, I guess, you know, the thinking is basically the same, but yeah, that's what I get from this. Like, I feel more movie poster like, not more video game like their arcade series than a movie poster per se when you look at it on its own. But I think they did a decent job. You know, like, again, it's gonna be hard to say what's a mess up, but I'll tell you one thing that is a mess up right there. I got a big glob of glossy paint. I'm pretty sure we could get, you know, this matte here, you know, since my wife's a painter, so we'll check into that. But that right there in the inner part of his leg, I don't know what happened there. Mad glob of glossy paint through two joints. Actually, it's just one joint. It is one thing. So it's like, yeah, big glob of glossy paint. Does it go on the bottom? No, it's just on this piece. I don't know what happened there. Luckily, it's on the inner leg, and you really can't see it. I actually would have thought like that gloss would have been good on both sides, maybe going up, just to give it like some like interesting shine at the bottom. Otherwise, I think they did a decent job. I do like the dorsal fins in this color. I did from the very first time they showed this. I thought it looked pretty cool, and I got some sort of glob of something right there. Do you see that, guys? Some sort of fiber. I'm gonna go off camera, take that off, whatever that is, and then we'll continue. And we're back. It looks like it's the glue that's holding this together. Maybe caught some like cardboard as well. That's what kind of looked like, some hardened cardboard on there. Could have been food. I don't know. Maybe somebody was eating their sandwich while at the desk. But it looks like the glue. It's hard to get out. You see it right in there. But whatevs. It's gone now. It looked a little gross to me. But again, the dorsal fins in this color scheme looks pretty good. You got the red. You got the kind of like whitish pink. And I think it looks decent overall. So that's pretty awesome. Now, I mean, this guy is obviously a repaint of the 54, which turned out pretty awesome. I really liked that one. So the sculpt overall is very nice. If you've never seen the Neca 54, it's so good. It's such a fun looking piece. I really like it. I like his face. His eyes look good. You know, he's a little goofy, but he's goofy. The mouth is pretty good. They didn't paint every tooth there. So yeah, that's interesting. My bottom teeth are pretty much gray, except for could you have painted a proper mouth? I'm gonna definitely touch that up, I think. I don't think I'll paint all of them. I don't know if it's supposed to be painted all the way through. That I cannot recall. Let's see. Let's see what they did here. So no, they didn't, but they did paint a little further on this side. It looks like they missed some. On this side, it looks pretty much right. Maybe they missed one from their promo shots. So yeah, definitely on this side. Oh man, you really can't tell when his mouth is closed. But if you want to replicate with the flame, it's, I don't know, maybe if I leave it on this side, which is the proper way, you won't see it, you know, yeah, maybe. His head does want to, this neck joint. So there is a couple, we're going to talk about the joints in a little bit, because this is, you know, them going back to the well, so there might be a little mold degradation, and we'll talk about that. But the greens and the yellows look pretty decent overall. You know, it is what it is. There's a nice design going on here, you know, that they did. The rest is, they kept it the gray, except for that glossy black there. The feet have a little bit on the nails and the feet there on the sides, going up the side of his legs. They look pretty decent, going upwards. I think in the original there was a little bit over here, I think. Bring in this guy again. You do see a little bit, but then I don't see any on the side, so they might have just switched where that was going to be. It is different here. It is right below the knee for sure, and over here it's on the side, but you can tell over here that there's nothing going on the side. So I think that's a case of them switching gears on that one, and I think I agree on that switch. That looks pretty decent. The paint going through his hair looks fine. You know, you don't get it at the very edge, but it kind of just gradiates out anyway. On the sides, it all looks pretty good. You know, going up to the top of his head, I think it looks decent as well. And the paint on his face is fine, except for that little thing I showed you before. But it's not a big problem because, you know what, the nose has some excess paint inside of the nostril. I wish that wasn't like that, for sure. That would have been better, but that's an easy fix, but it is there. Definitely want to point it out to you. You know, I mean, it's so simple to correct. I could even do it like with like this closest pen. Could probably just paint, you know, go right over. It doesn't really work. I do have some Gundam markers that'll do the trick really easy right in there. That's not a problem. I can probably even touch up that little bit. I might do that with some gray. But otherwise, I think that the head turned out okay. You know, like, no doubt about it. So over here, I wish there was a little more of this yellow right there. It feels kind of like they missed going down on that side. You see there's more on that than there is there. So, yeah, I wish there was more yellow there. It definitely feels like it's not as full as this side. But overall, the sculpt is really nice, like I said. You know, you got big feet, you got the nice hands. Overall, you know, the texture looks pretty good. You get the regular kind of little wash going on here on his body. You could tell in this part that there's a little bit going on. So, yeah, overall, I think it's pretty decent. It's definitely not sloppy. It's definitely not like the G19 we just saw recently. You know, the teeth, I think, are the most glaring. Little nosy part and right underneath. But they're not the biggest of deals. And that, to me, needed a little more yellow. But otherwise, I mean, I think it plays a part. Like, I feel like all my problems are on this side. So if you look at them from this side, which I guess is the proper way, you know, like, it looks pretty fine. So there you have it, guys. That's, you know... That's the last word on, well, not my last word on the looks, because, you know, I'll do something maybe in final thoughts that's different. Who knows? Who knows what we'll discover along the way. Articulation on Godzilla. You got the hinged mouth, which works nicely. You have a joint right in here, a joint right here. I do feel like this one is a little loose. You saw the head kind of going down. You see that? I don't think the original is that loose. Nope, not at all. Hello, original. We'll look at the comparison a little bit later. Then you got hinge swivel at the shoulder. Hinge swivel at the elbow. Same thing going on at the wrist. You got the, ooh, very tight hinge. And that's probably from the excess paint on it. Yeah, that one's really tight. Hinged on the hands. You do have a joint right in the middle. Works totally fine. Legs, just kind of ball jointed in, kind of move them a bit. You can swivel the knees. You're not going to be able to do much else on them. Same thing with the foot. You get a little bit of a rocker, but mostly you're just going to swivel it around. I do find this particular ball joint loose compared to the original right in here, which is unfortunate. Again, that's probably mold degradation, and then you got a joint there, a joint there, a joint here, and the edge is a bendy wire. So there you go. And there is one, this is the last joint, right? Yeah. This is the joint you have to pop in. So a couple of points of looseness here that was not present in the original. But overall, I mean, you know, this is an older figure now. From the last few years, I guess, but, you know, compared to some of the other ones, yeah, he can have a little more articulation, but he's decent enough. Again, you're getting this guy to recreate the poster version, so all these little problems, like, don't really matter, because it's really about getting him to look like this with the flame in his mouth. I think that is the most important part, and from this angle, you know, you don't need the joints, you don't need the excess paint, so that's pretty good. For your size comparisons, let's start off with the original 54 and just give you a quick once-over to see what they did here. As you can see, they put a lot of green and yellow on them, changed the spikes, but everything else is pretty much the same. I did want to mention, this is much tighter than this. Kind of, maybe not, actually. No, going this way, it's definitely tighter. Here, you can feel it. Otherwise, you know, just color. There's nothing else different here, just color. And just to show you the back here. That was a little loose there. Not as much there. So, there you go, guys. And it doesn't really need much more than that, but that's how they look together. Here it is with the Jax Rodan. Mecron Panzer Galliant, Ultraman Victory, Ultraman Zero, the Arcade Godzilla, the Movie Monster Series Godzilla 19, Godzilla 62, the Neca Godzilla 19, and finally another recent variant, the Mezco Kong Black and White. And final thoughts, I think this is pretty good. The backboard, you know, I wish it did have the writing on it, but it looks like a cost-cutting measure to me. I've heard it was licensing, but when you have all that stuff already on the packaging, I don't know. It's a tough sell. Licensing is weird, though, that's for sure. So it could be, but I do think it felt like a cost-cutting thing because, and also an aesthetic thing because Once you realize what your box dimensions are and the packaging doesn't fit, then you got a little bit of a problem. And if you like lower the lettering, it doesn't possibly look quite right. So I could see it being a little bit of both there. It's not the biggest of deals. You know, I do like the packaging overall, and I do like the figure overall. He's got a few little paint problems that I pointed out, but overall, from the right spot, he looks good. I won't be displaying it in package or with the display stand, so it doesn't matter to me as long as he looks cool from this angle right here, and he does. I'm fairly happy with it. So there you go, guys. That's my review. Hope you dug it. Let me know your thoughts below. And if you could please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram. Buy me a coffee if you dig what I do. The support is appreciated. Till next time, peace out, peeps.